Today on Larry King Now, the country superstar Jake Owen on his national headline tour.
I love this so much that no matter if I was never successful at this, I would feel successful because I love it.
When did you know you were good?
I think I'm still figuring that out.
Plus,
as an opening act, all you want to do is absolutely crush every other person that you're playing with, and you want to step on the headliner. You want to make the headliner look...
Really? Finally, someone admits that.
All you want to do is go out there and completely try to one-up the guy whose name's on the ticket.
All next on Larry King Now. We are at the beautiful Greek Theater in Los Angeles with the great Jake Owen, responsible for the summer anthem Beachin', his 5th #1 single. His new song, We Ain't Got Hit, is that it?
We Ain't Got.
Oh, we
I
ain't
think
got.
it says We Ain't Got, probably hit the charts or something.
Yeah, it hit the charts. Okay, good line, Jake. Thanks for interrupting me. You'll never be back. Currently, he's on tour with Jake Owen's Days of Gold Tour 2014. That goes through the end of October. And he will host the 8th annual ACM American Country Music Honors on September 9th at the famous Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. Tell me about this tour. What do we mean by Days of Gold? We have a gold guitar.
Well, you know, my first single off the album is called Days of Gold. It was the first song I chose to put on the record. And the Days of Gold, to me, are the times you remember and the great times in life. And right now are some pretty great times in my life. I got married a couple years ago. I have a beautiful daughter. It's my first big headline tour. So it just seemed appropriate to name the album that, name the tour that.
Are all the songs symbolic of this?
I think
high
so.
you're on?
I think so. And then there's also some as well that don't necessarily parallel that idea, but they say a lot about who I am as a person. And I think that's the good part about making music, is that you can do that. Your
previous album, Barefoot Blue Jean Night, gave you 4 #1 hits out of that one album, right? Is that what made it for you? What made it? How did Jake Owen going from being an opening act to a star? Was there a hit? What happened?
Well, 10 years went by, and in between that time, I have a lot of great people that I work with that have been with me since day one. I've put together song after song. I think patience happened a little bit. But the song that really did it for me was definitely that album, Barefoot Blue Jean Night. I never had a #1 until then. It was like about 6, 7 years into my career, and that album came out. Barefoot Blue Jean Night went #1, and then we had 4 in a row after that. So I was kind of off to the races at that point.
This is your first big tour, you say. Did you do small ones?
I'd done smaller tours where I was headlining, but I'd been on every major tour you can imagine up until that. I've been on with every artist, from some of my heroes like Alan Jackson and Brooks and Dunn till Kenny Chesney, you name it, I've been out there. And so I learned a lot from all those guys, and I've brought a lot of that with me now.
It's always interesting to be the opening act, isn't it? Because you know the crowd is there for the other guy.
Yeah.
So
And now it's reversed for me, and it's funny you said that, because the first few nights of this tour, and honestly, it'll be the same way tonight here at the Greek. I mean, we're playing at the Greek Theater, and I'm talking to Larry King. This is the first for me. This is crazy. And I'll walk out there tonight, and people will start screaming, and they'll sing, and I am now the guy with the name on the ticket. And I was always the guy before that was kind of like just getting people a little warmed up, you know?
Well, what's it like to be the guy before? What's it like to go on stage when you know the crowd really doesn't know you very well or at all, and they're waiting to see Mr. Chesney?
What's it like?
Yeah. I mean, is it pressure or not pressure?
No, there's really no pressure at that point, I don't think. You know what, it's funny you said that. The other night I played a festival at the Gorge in Washington, and I was headlining, and there were 6 or 7 artists playing before me, and everyone that played was so great in their own right. But I saw myself in every single one of them, because as an opening act, all you want to do is absolutely crush every other person that you're playing with, and you want to step on the headliner. You want to make the headliner
Oh,
look...
really? Finally,
yeah.
someone admits that.
Yeah, you want to, yeah, of course. If anyone's ever admitted that, they're lying. But if you're an opening act, all you want to do is go out there and completely try to one-up the guy whose name's on the ticket. And I think, as a headliner, I appreciate that. When the guys that I'm taking out, the Cadillac 3 are with me now, Frankie Ballard's playing here tonight, but we have Eli Young Band and Parmalee out with us. If they go out there and they give everything they have to try to one-up me, good for them, because that's how you get to this spot. But at the same time, too, you're helping my tour out. I was helping Kenny out and anyone else I was out on tour with by just giving it 110%.
RollingStone.com, I want to quote this right, said you were the heir to Kenny Chesney's country beach bum persona. What do they mean by that?
I have no clue, Larry. I don't know. I guess because, you know, there's a bit of ocean influence in my music. I am from Florida. My mom would say my hair's, you know, a little too long. But I'm a carefree kind of guy, but that also cares a lot, if that makes sense. Like I try to live carefree, but I care about a lot of things in my life, and maybe I don't know what they think that, but I'll take it.
Tell me about the latest single, What We Ain't Got. I understand it's a different sound.
It's way different.
In what way?
Well, considering the beach bum persona that they gave me, it's a long way from that. It's a song about real life situations that a lot of people deal with on a daily basis. The hook of the song is really kind of generates around a guy who loses the woman in his life, and we all want what we don't have. And but there's a lot of things in the song that speak on all levels. For me personally, when I first heard the song, I relate to it in a way where I work every day so hard that it sometimes takes me away from the things that are right in front of me. My wife, my child, my friends, my brother, my mom and dad, just calling them back, things like that. And sometimes there's a line in the song that says, I wanted the world until my whole world stopped. And I don't ever want my world to stop. And I think sometimes we all just need to understand that we can work our lives away, but why when, you know, we just need to share it with the people around us.
Wow. Did you write the song? You don't write the song.
I didn't write this song. It's a song that I was lucky enough to find on a guy named Travis Meadows' album. And he wrote it about his personal life experience going through divorce with his wife. And I feel like I'm at a point in my career where people are listening, and to be able to put a song out like that, it's my responsibility to do that.
We'll be right back. We're back with Jake Owen. He's in the midst of his tour. We're at the famed Greek Theater here in Los Angeles, up in the hills. It's a great place. You like working outdoors?
I love it. I love it. It's great. Anytime I can be outside, it's good.
Really, because you don't get the same sound, do you?
You don't get the same sound, but you get a different atmosphere. When you're inside, you can do the lights and all the crazy stuff. But out here, it's kind of, we're outside. Everybody wants to be outside.
True about the shoulder injury in college responsible for you taking up the guitar?
Very true.
You were at Florida State, right?
I went to Florida State. I wanted to play golf there on the golf team. I was going to walk on. My twin brother had a full ride there in tennis. And I had some other offers to play at smaller schools, but wanted to be with my twin brother. So I went there, and ironically enough, had a shoulder surgery after an accident water skiing. And I don't know if that was the reason I picked up guitar, but I know that it was like a way that my life told me that maybe it's supposed to take a different path.
So you had to be 19, 20 years old.
I was 19, 20 years old.
Had you sung before at all?
In the shower, in the car. I remember my twin brother, I promise you, this is the honest truth. I'll never forget just kind of singing along to a song, and my brother and I were sitting in the back seat of the car one time, and he's like, Mom, you should like do something with Jake, 'cause I think he can sing okay. I'll never forget Jared said that, so. But that was early. I was young, like 10, 11 years old. And, but when I finally found that music was something I wanted to do, and it's weird when you find that one thing in life that you're so passionate about, it doesn't seem that hard to do it when you love it. You know, you might not be good at it at the start, but if you love it enough, you can make yourself better.
What does your brother do? He
sells insurance, and he's great at it.
Doesn't sing?
He'll sing after a couple beers, Larry.
What was it like growing up a twin? Did you like fool girls? Did you date and then
we never did that. No. We never did the whole fool the teacher kind of thing because we hadn't ever looked that much alike. But one thing that it did make me, and all my friends will tell you this, is I'm really competitive. Really competitive. I just want to win everything. I don't care if it's a video game or if it's coming out here and playing my music.
Fighting your brother through the years?
Just from always, if I wanted to play baseball or throw a ball in the front yard, we'd throw a front ball, who could throw it farther. If I wanted to play a basketball game, I always had a partner to play basketball with. If I wanted to swim in the pool, let's race to the other side. If we're going fishing, who's gonna catch more fish? And it made me competitive, and I think it made me work hard.
Are there ever days when you said, I think I'd have rather been a top pro golfer?
No. I mean,
you were great at it.
I was pretty good. But I don't think I ever loved it enough. In order to be great at something, I think you have to really, really love it. And I don't think I loved it enough the way those guys do to be successful. Whereas I love this so much that no matter if I was never successful at this, I would feel successful because I love it,
When did you know you were good?
I think I'm still figuring that out. Like, seriously. I mean, there's nights where I watch myself or watch the playback of the video and I'm like, God, man, I have to get better. But I think I knew that, I don't know if to say that I was good, but I knew that I could play well enough to entertain people. I'm good at entertaining people.
You talk a lot to the audience?
I don't know if I talk so much, but I engage with them. I let them know that thank you for coming. You don't have to be here. And so since you decided to be here, I'm gonna make sure that when you leave, you tell everyone and all your friends that they need to come next time too, because they didn't think they needed to be here.
Do you enjoy playing as much as singing?
I do. It's hard to be on the road. It's hard to sing 3 or 4 nights a week and get up in the morning and do the phoners and do the interviews. It's hard to do this. So that wears on me a little bit. And it's tough because it's kind of like being a professional pitcher or something where your arm's hurting a little bit, but you know that you're signed to a multi-million-dollar contract and you got to get out there and sling that ball because people are counting on you. And there's days where I know my voice is tired, but I know I got guys in the band and fans that have been waiting all day outside the gate to hear me sing. And so, yeah, I love this more than anything, but there's days where it's hard. It's really hard to get up there and smile and have a perfect day every day.
How good a guitarist are you?
I'm pretty good.
Did you take lessons, or?
No, I taught myself kind of. I think I maybe took 1 lesson in my life for just to learn chords, but I kind of taught myself. I have great people around me. I have amazing musicians around me every day. And my dad always said, if you want to learn something, just watch the people that are the best at it. And I get pretty good advice on a daily basis.
More with Jake Owen, what a name he's made for himself. What a great talent. We'll be right back. We're back with Jake Owen. He's starring at the Greek Theater here. He's in the midst of a tour. It ends in October. And then what? Do you record again?
I don't really have a recording schedule so much. I kind of record songs as I either write them or find them. I try not to do the quintessential, let's block this time off, go in, you have to be creative at this. I kind of just, if I feel it, I'll go and record if I have time. But hopefully when the time comes where I'm off, I'll be spending more time with my family.
How long have you been doing the tour?
This tour started in March. But there's so much going before. I think I'm kind of really never stop. As you're ending one tour, you're thinking about what you're gonna do for the next tour, and then you have rehearsals, and then you go to the first venue site and rehearse there for a couple days, and then you kick it off, and that started in March.
Do you know you've got it before you go on stage? Do you know you've got it?
Yeah, you have to. I think you have to. It's kind of like anything. It's like when I was playing golf. If I stepped up to a golf ball and my mind wasn't in it, step away.
Tell me about this boating thing.
Okay.
Boating's one of the sponsors of this tour, right?
Discover Boating, they are. It was a great partnership. I've had a couple sponsorships over my career. This has been a cool partnership just because it kind of, as I've grown, part of growing is identifying yourself to your audience. And I've been really fortunate to develop an identity where people associate me with being from Florida, loving the water, I'm always out on my boat all the time. If I'm not here, I love being on the water. So it's nice to be able to go out there and help. They help promote me, I help promote them, and we enjoy the same things. Whereas I'm not going out there, promoting something that I don't know much about.
What do you love about it out there? Because you bounce up and down a lot. You go in the ocean.
I go wherever. I'll go on a pond if it floats. I don't care. I just there's something about, I've always been that way. If you look at photos of me even from the time I was a kid, I was on a boat. When I was 12 years old, my dad got me this little Boston whaler, and it had this 35 horsepower Johnson on the back of it. And I can't believe it when I go back home and look at the Indian River Lagoon, how big it is and how it just sprawls behind mangroves. And he just said, go. And he set me free as a kid. And I just think about that now growing up. That's why I love it. That's why, because it's free. I used to go by myself after school and fill up a 6-gallon gas tank that I had to mix oil in too. And I could go all day long.
What's it like being a father?
It's the most rewarding thing that I've ever done.
How old is she?
She's almost 2, and it's great. Because I will admit that I really would have liked to have had a boy up until I had her, and then when she was born, and the time I've spent with her, I feel like I could have a lot more girls because she's just
they're daddy people.
Yeah, and the love she shows me is just the greatest ever.
How'd you meet your wife?
We met through music and this business. She was part of a video I made years and years ago, and
she was like a backup singer?
She was she was the girl in the video. She was the love interest, and she didn't give me the time of day though back then. So I just kind of I told you, Larry, I'm competitive. So
is she a Floridian too?
She is. She's from Orlando, and I'm from Vero Beach.
Vero Beach, home of the Dodgers. Used to be the home of the Dodgers.
That's right.
You were a kid, you went to Dodger.
All the time. I have a photo in my bus of my brother and I when we were 8 and 9 years old, watching the fireworks at Holman Stadium, just with this look of wonderment on our face. And I keep that in my bus because it always reminds me, 1, of being home, 2, of just the love I have of my brother and our bond, and 3, to never stop being amazed at things, to never stop going,
damn
wow.
Right. Damn, the day you lose that, why live?
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself on stage and forget what city you're in?
No, I've never done that. I can honestly tell you I've never done that. Now, I've been on stage and forgot words to songs completely, and I just kind of make stuff up as I go along, or just let the music go, and I start laughing or something, but I never forget where
How'd you get your first in-person gig? How'd you get to open for somebody? Who's the first artist you opened for?
Kenny Chesney.
How'd you get that?
A blessing and a pure luck. And long story short, I told myself from the time I saw him playing concert, this is wild, but I love telling the story because there's kids out there that feel the same way when they come to my show. They want to do this. You can do this.
So you saw Kenny Chesney? Saw
Kenny Chesney, and I said, I want to do what he's doing. I want to do this. And I moved to Nashville, dropped out of college, started writing a lot of songs. He actually put one of my songs on what they call a hold. I think he wanted to record it. Ended up not recording it, but I got to meet him, and it kind of drew me to the same management company that he has. And thankfully, when I put my first record out, he was going out on tour, and I was the baby act that got to go out there and, play.
Do you remember that night?
I'll never forget it. My best friend will be here tonight at the Greek Theater. He was there. He played professional tennis my whole life. My 15-year-old best friend turned pro at 15 when I was still in high school, and I couldn't imagine, what's it like to travel around the world and play tennis. And he always told me, he was always supportive of me, Marty Fish. He always said, I promise you, man, when you keep playing your music, you're gonna open for Kenny Chesney one day, and I'll be there. And he's here tonight, but he was there the day in Hershey, Pennsylvania, that I opened up for Kenny Chesney. And it was maybe Marty, my mom and dad, and a few other people in the crowd.
What was that night like for you? You had to be nervous.
I was so drunk. I was.
You got drunk?
Way drunk.
Why were your opening night for Kenny Chesney, your first time on a big stage?
I've thought about this hundreds of times. Why did I do that? Number one, because a lot of it seems like a blur. But number two, I was really nervous. My best friend came up to watch me open for Kenny Chesney. My mom and dad were there. My brother, my twin brother. Everything that I'd ever worked for that I said I was gonna do, I was gonna do that night. So I played at 4:30 in the afternoon. And I had a couple drinks, before I played, not realizing it's like 3:30, And plus on Kenny Chesney's tour, everybody, everywhere you go, they're handing you a margarita, and I'm like, and Kenny's walking by going, "Hey, Jake," and I had to pretend like I wasn't a super fan, like I'm the guy that's cool enough to be opening up his show. So yeah, I got a little tipsy that night.
Did you forget lyrics?
No, I didn't. I mean, I did a great show, but I remember just getting a little too far into it, getting a little overeager.
A very honest Jake Owen. We'll be back with our remaining moments. We'll play a little game and have some social media questions after this. It's Jake Owen's Days of Gold tour. We're at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. He's a great guest. Wonderful having you with us.
Thanks.
I broke in Miami, so I have lots of love for Florida and Seminoles.
There you go.
A few social media questions. Film Cheek on Instagram. What has been your favorite moment on the tour, other than this moment right now?
This is a pretty good one, Larry. My favorite moment on the tour, it's every night. Every night there's something new.
You love it, right?
I love it. I love this. Every night something new that makes me say, wow.
Bryson Knox on Facebook. Which country singer would you want to do a duet with?
I'd really like to do a duet with Ronnie Dunn from Brooks and Dunn. I love his voice, and I think he's the greatest country singer to come around in a long, long time, and he's one of my heroes.
At Lynn's Eric Thomas on Twitter, have you been able to stay close to your family while touring?
I have. They go pretty much everywhere with me, and I'm thankful for that.
Oh, they do?
They do. They ride the bus, and since the time Pearl's been a little bitty girl, we have a little baby bunk she rides in, and it's great because she's around grown-ups every day. And
everything by bus? You don't fly?
I fly from time to time, but we try to stay on the bus a little easier.
George Wasserman on Facebook, where do you write most of your music?
That's random. Sometimes it's on the bus, sometimes it's on an airplane. Sometimes.
Could be anytime.
Could be anytime.
Okay, we play a little game of You Only Knew. I just throw them at you, right?
Let's go.
First girl you ever kissed?
Marty Lucero.
In Florida?
Yeah.
How old were you?
Dugout of a high school baseball game.
You weren't in high school yet, were you?
No, but we were at the high school in the dugout.
In the dugout you kissed her?
Yeah, it was after the game.
You ever find out what happened to her?
I have no idea. I'm actually surprised I remembered her name.
Superpower you'd love to have?
Superpower I'd love to have is to just, grant wishes.
Oh, grant wishes. I'd like to be invisible.
That's an amazing one. I didn't even think of that.
Think of it. Music you listen to at the
What would you have done if you just looked up and I was gone? Like, I wasn't even sitting here anymore.
The shadow. About being invisible, would I leave a room after I was talking to people to see what they thought of me? Or I go back,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then that means you're self-conscious, and I never thought of you that way, Larry.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't care.
Especially wearing a tie and socks like that. You're not self-conscious.
The hip socks, aren't they?
They are.
What era would you like to go back to and visit?
The 40s.
Oh, the swing era.
Yeah. I really, 40s, 50s, I love Chet Baker. I'm a big Chet Baker fan. Trumpet player, jazz.
The Avengers or the Justice League?
I ride the line on that one.
Okay.
I'm an Avenger.
Favorite part of touring?
Being somewhere new every day and doing it with your friends. Doing it with the people you enjoy being around.
Favorite part of recording new music?
Is having something new to take out here on the road.
First car you owned?
A Jeep Wrangler. I mean,
what would you be if you weren't a singer?
A photographer.
Favorite hobby?
Photography.
City with the loudest fans?
Ooh. That's either Chicago, Illinois. They've been great to me. Or Los Angeles.
So it isn't the South. The North is, country music's everywhere now,
Country
right?
music's everywhere.
It's universal.
Yeah. That's why, you know, it's more, the songs are, I believe, are more about everywhere than they are just, you know.
Yeah, well, country music touches everywhere.
Everyone.
Go overseas yet?
I haven't. I've gone across the border, though, a couple times.
Best thing about country music, touches everybody, I guess, right?
Yeah, but it's also, I think, the fact that the artists within it are accessible to the fans.
Yeah, they are.
We're not trying to be like, you know,
Bigger than
Houdini
them.
acts or bigger than anyone. We're thankful for what we have based on these fans that are, the most important word to use is they're loyal. And once they buy into what you're doing and you treat them well, they'll continue to come back, and they bring their kids and everyone.
Catch a touchdown pass or hit a home run?
Home run.
Me too. Johnny Cash or Elvis Presley?
I have to say Elvis.
Elvis. You
Yeah.
know, Cash was more country, right?
Elvis is an entertainer.
Nah, that's what you are. Jake, thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Great having you with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Jake Owen, you're a mensch. And that's a compliment. See you next time.